She stopped replying. She's online, but she's not responding. She saw your message, but she's gone cold. And now your mind is spinning. Did I say something wrong? Should I double text her? Should I call? This is where most men destroy their chances. This video is about what not to do when a woman ignores you. Because that silence is a test, a power play, and sometimes a setup. If you respond like most guys do, you'll give her exactly what she wants: control. But if you respond like a man who understands the game, she'll be the one wondering what she did wrong. We're going to cover 5 critical mistakes that men make in this situation. Mistakes that seem harmless on the surface but completely ruin your value in her eyes. And no, this isn't going to be the same tired advice you've heard from the usual dating gurus. This is about power dynamics, emotional self-control, and knowing how to maintain your position as a man, even when she's trying to shake it. Because here's what most guys don't realize. When a woman ignores you, she's not just disappearing, she's observing. She's waiting to see how addicted you are to her attention. She's checking to see if you'll fold, chase, or even beg. And the moment you do, you've shown her that your self-worth is tied to her validation. That's not how strong men operate. That's not how high-value men respond. You're going to learn how to hold your ground when she pulls away, and why that silence can actually be your advantage, if you play it right. Let's break down the 5 mistakes you must never make when a woman starts to ignore you. Before we start the video, I want to remind you that my exclusive online course on mastering the dating game is available now. If you've been learning from my YouTube videos, you're only scratching the surface. This course goes deeper, teaching you everything you need to know about the dating game, from approaching a woman to building real attraction. We just finished section 5 in the course, and you won't find this information on videos on my channel. It's easy to access with a secure payment option. Visit stoicapproachtolife.podia.com or click the link in the description to enroll now and improve your dating life. 1. Why she's ignoring you in the first place. When a woman ignores you, the biggest mistake you can make is assuming it came out of nowhere. It didn't. Whether you noticed it or not, there was a build-up, either in her mind or based on your behavior, that led her to stop responding. And understanding why it's happening is the first step in not falling apart when it does. Here's the truth. Women rarely ignore men they're truly interested in. If she's emotionally invested, she'll find a reason to talk to you. If she's silent, she's either losing interest or testing your reaction to her pulling away. And both of those scenarios reveal a power shift. Sometimes she starts ignoring you because you've become too available, too predictable, too eager. Women are attracted to men who bring challenge, mystery, and stability, not men who treat her like a prize he's desperate to win. If you've been chasing, over-communicating, or reacting too quickly, she might start to lose the tension that keeps her engaged. Other times, she ignores you because she wants control. She wants to see if she can shake you, if ignoring you will make you panic, chase harder, or try to fix something that she never even communicated. That's how she measures your emotional discipline, and most men fail that test. Let's look at a real-life situation. You're texting a woman you recently started seeing. The chemistry seemed strong. Then suddenly, no response. She leaves you on read. You double text. Nothing. You follow up the next day. Still nothing. What happened? You gave away your position. You showed her she can disappear, and you'll come chasing like you need her attention to survive. That tells her you're not used to abundance. It tells her you're investing more than she is, and that imbalance kills attraction. Here's what you need to understand. Her silence is a move, not a mystery. It's either emotional distance growing from her side, or a calculated way to see what kind of man you really are. Either way, your job is not to react, it's to observe. Because how you handle the silence will shape how she sees you going forward. She's not ignoring you by accident. She's either done, or she's watching. Don't give her a show she can laugh at. 2. Don't chase. It screams weakness. The moment she pulls away, most men do the same thing. They chase. They text more. They call. They check her stories. They try to get her attention in subtle, indirect ways, hoping she'll notice and respond. Let's be honest, we've all done it. That sinking feeling in your chest when a woman ignores you, it makes you want to fix it, to do something, to bring the connection back. You think, if I just say the right thing, maybe she'll respond. But what you don't realize is that chasing her after she pulls away is the exact move that confirms her suspicion, that you need her more than she needs you. And once she sees that, her respect for you starts to fade. Women don't respect desperation. They don't admire men who act out of fear. When you chase, you're telling her with your actions that you can't handle the silence, that she has power over you. And the more you chase, the more she pulls back. Not because she's playing games, but because the chase exposes something unattractive, your emotional dependence. See, when a man is truly confident, he doesn't run after what removes itself from him. He doesn't feel the need to force connection where it's being denied. He doesn't lose his center when someone walks out of his space. And that energy, calm, collected, and self-assured, is what keeps a woman's respect alive. Think about this. If she's ignoring you and you go chasing, what does that say about your options? What does that say about how you value yourself? It screams that she's your only source of female validation. It tells her you're not used to being around women who actually choose you. But when you hold your ground, you flip the dynamic. You send the message that you're not reacting to her withdrawal, and that your identity isn't built around her attention. That kind of detachment is powerful. It makes her question why you're not chasing. It makes her wonder what she just lost. Here's the key. Don't try to convince a woman to come back to you. Let her feel the loss. Let her notice your absence. Let her remember that you didn't fight for her when she walked away. Not because you didn't care, but because you care about yourself more. Chasing is what boys do when they don't know their value. Men stay still. Men observe. Men wait to see if she's worth re-engaging with. If she ignores you and you chase, you just taught her she's above you. Never give her that lesson. 3. Stop explaining yourself. When a woman starts ignoring you, a lot of men go straight into explanation mode. They start typing long paragraphs, justifying what they said, trying to clarify their tone, or over-explaining their actions, hoping she'll understand and come back around. This is a trap. Explaining yourself when she's already tuned out is one of the fastest ways to look weak. It doesn't matter how logical your points are. It doesn't matter if you're being respectful, honest, or even right. If you're explaining yourself while she's ignoring you, what she sees is a man trying to earn her approval back. That energy kills attraction. You have to realize that most women don't ignore men because of some deep misunderstanding that needs to be explained. They pull back because of a shift in their emotional response, and emotions don't respond to logic. She's not ignoring you because she didn't get your message. She's ignoring you because she doesn't feel the same tension, interest, or excitement she once did. You can't explain your way back into her feelings. When you explain yourself in these moments, it makes her feel like she's the authority in the situation and you're seeking her validation. That dynamic turns you into a man who's reacting, not leading. It places her on a pedestal, and whether you realize it or not, you're giving her control of the emotional tone. Let's say you said something she didn't like. Maybe you came off a little too direct. Maybe your opinion rubbed her the wrong way. If her response is to go silent, then explaining yourself gives her the power to define what's acceptable. It makes you look like you're trying to patch things up, not because you believe in what you said, but because you're afraid of losing her. That's not strength. That's submission. A grounded man doesn't over-explain. He lets his actions speak. If he meant what he said, he stands by it. If she disappears because of that, then she's not the woman for him. But chasing after her with explanations, that just shows her he's not rooted in anything. It shows her he'll bend himself out of shape just to stay in her good graces. And women don't respect that. They don't admire a man who explains himself into submission. They admire a man who holds his position with quiet confidence, even when it costs him someone who was never really committed in the first place. So next time you feel the urge to send a long message, ask yourself, are you clarifying something that truly matters? Or are you just afraid of being misunderstood by someone who already stopped listening? Stop explaining. Start standing firm. 4. Begging destroys attraction. When a woman ignores you and the silence drags on, something dangerous starts building up inside. Desperation. And if you don't catch it early, it turns into begging. Maybe not in the obvious way, but in the subtle, emotional, needy kind of way that completely destroys your value. Begging isn't just about saying, "Please talk to me." It's any action rooted in emotional dependence. It's when you start doing too much, reaching out too often, sending long emotional texts, asking if she's okay, checking in to make sure she's not upset, trying to make things right even when you're not sure what went wrong. All of that is begging, and it tells her one thing: you don't believe you can walk away. That mindset is toxic to attraction, because once a woman sees that you're willing to throw away your pride, your boundaries, and your self-control just to get her attention back, she can never unsee that. It confirms to her that she's the prize, and you're the one chasing approval. That imbalance shifts the whole dynamic. It puts her in control of the connection, and it puts you in the role of the emotionally fragile one, desperate to be accepted. That's not masculine energy. That's not leadership. That's emotional submission, and it makes her feel like you're not capable of handling life without her. Even worse, begging creates pressure. When you start pouring all your emotion into trying to get her to respond, she doesn't feel desired. She feels smothered. It doesn't make her want to come back. It makes her want to run even further. Because now, instead of her feeling your strength and stability, she's feeling your neediness. She's feeling your insecurity. And nothing kills feminine attraction faster than a man who can't emotionally stand on his own. Attraction doesn't grow from weakness. It grows from mystery, strength, and restraint. If she sees that you can maintain your center even when she's distant, she starts to wonder why. She starts to question if you even need her like she thought. That's what pulls her back in. Not begging for her presence, but being completely fine without it. Begging gives her all the power. It tells her that no matter how she treats you, you'll still be there, waiting, hoping, ready to please her again. And once she knows that, she loses all curiosity, all respect, and eventually, all interest. The truth is, if you have to beg to get someone's attention, they were never really choosing you in the first place. You don't beg for value. You recognize it in yourself and act like it. Keep your dignity. Hold your ground. If she doesn't see your worth in silence, she was never going to see it in words. 5. Checking in makes you look insecure. When a woman stops responding, there's this overwhelming urge to check in. You don't want to come off needy, but deep down, you're hoping that a simple, "Hey, just checking in, everything okay?" will somehow break the silence. You tell yourself it's just concern, that you're being thoughtful, that it's innocent. But to her, it doesn't come off like that at all. Checking in when she's ignoring you doesn't make you look caring. It makes you look unsure of yourself. It tells her you're worried. It tells her you're confused. It tells her you're placing your emotional state in her hands. And that's a position no man should ever put himself in. Let's call it what it is: a hidden attempt to seek reassurance. You want to know if you're still on her mind. You want to feel like she still sees you as relevant. And instead of holding your position in silence, you break it with a small, polite text that quietly screams, "I'm not okay with this distance." Here's what most men don't realize. When a woman pulls away, she's paying attention to how you carry yourself in that space. She wants to see if you'll fold, if you'll get antsy, if you'll start seeking small crumbs of comfort just to keep the connection alive. Picture this. You've been talking to a woman for a few weeks. Things seem to be going well. But then she slows down her replies, becomes distant, and eventually stops responding altogether. After 2 days, you send that classic line, "Hey, just checking in, hope everything's okay." From your side, it feels polite, mature, maybe even thoughtful. But on her side, it reads as low confidence. It shows her that you're watching the clock, waiting on her, unsure of where you stand, and now looking to her for clarity. That kills the mystery. It removes the strength. It tells her that you're emotionally affected by her silence, and that's exactly the opposite of what draws her back in. The men who stand out to women are the ones who can handle the unknown. The ones who don't need to check in because they're not sitting around hoping for approval. They're too focused on themselves, their mission, and their own lives to chase clarity from someone who went quiet. The truth is, If she's interested, she'll come back on her own. No gentle reminders, no friendly nudges, no, just making sure you're okay messages. You're not her emotional support system. You're not her therapist. And you're definitely not a backup option she can leave on standby. So stop checking in. Let the silence do its job. Because if you're truly grounded, you won't need to break it. And if she values you, she'll feel it in your absence. 6. Reacting emotionally is a setup. When a woman starts ignoring you, it feels personal. You start running all these thoughts through your head. What did I do wrong? Did I mess this up? Is she talking to someone else? And the more you sit in that confusion, the more emotional it becomes. That's when men lose control. They start reacting. Anger, frustration, anxiety, jealousy. It doesn't matter what form it takes. As soon as you let emotion drive your next move, you've already lost the frame. You've handed her control of the entire situation without even realizing it. And what's worse is, that's exactly what she's watching for. Women don't always test you with words. Sometimes they test you with silence. And your reaction to that silence tells her everything she needs to know about what kind of man you are. Reacting emotionally when she pulls away shows that you're not grounded. It shows that your confidence is fragile. It shows that your peace depends on her approval. And no matter how strong you think you come across, the moment you break down, because she's distant, you reveal emotional weakness. You can be the most confident guy when things are going your way. But the moment she stops texting and you start spiraling, she sees the truth. You're not as stable as you looked. You're reactive. And reactive men are easy to control. She might not be trying to manipulate you consciously. But whether she means to or not, silence becomes a trap, a test, a way to see if you're emotionally strong enough to handle pressure. And when you react with long texts, random outbursts, or cold attitude shifts, you're doing exactly what confirms her doubt. Men who know their worth don't chase answers. They don't explode with emotion. They don't fold under discomfort. They let the silence play out, and they let her reveal who she is through it. If you can't stay calm when she creates distance, you're not ready for the kind of woman you're chasing. Because emotional discipline is the foundation of masculine energy. It's what keeps you attractive, stable, and in control, no matter what she does. So when that silence hits and your emotions start firing up, don't act. Don't type. Don't overthink. Breathe. Center yourself. Hold the line. Because every emotional reaction is a message. And if the message is, I'm losing control, she'll take the lead, and she won't look back. Let her silence test you, and let your silence show her she's testing the wrong man. 7. Thinking it's over too soon shows inexperience. Too many men panic at the first sign of silence. She doesn't text back for a day, and suddenly he's spiraling. He's reading into everything, assuming the worst, acting like it's already over. This is emotional immaturity disguised as realism. The truth is, silence doesn't always mean it's done, but the way you respond to the silence can definitely finish it off. A lot of men have lost perfectly salvageable connections, not because she walked away for good, but because they assumed she did and reacted like a man who had already lost. That's a rookie mistake. Jumping to conclusions too quickly shows that you don't understand women and you don't trust your own value. It shows that you're not used to dealing with feminine behavior, because silence isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's a test. Sometimes it's a mood. Sometimes it's her way of resetting the power balance. And sometimes it's just life. But instead of staying calm, grounded, and emotionally solid, many men overreact. They let their fears drive them. They start thinking, I blew it, it's over, she's done with me. And in that panic, they make one of the mistakes we've already talked about. They chase, they beg, they explain, they react. Here's the part most guys don't want to hear. You're giving up too easily because you haven't developed patience, presence, or power. You want things to always go smoothly. You expect quick validation, fast replies, and constant reassurance. But women don't operate like that. Especially not women who are used to men folding when things get uncomfortable. You've got to wake up. If you think every bit of distance is the end of the story, you're not ready for high-level connections. Because attraction isn't always linear. It fluctuates. It pulls back and pushes forward. And women often need to feel what it's like to not have you in their orbit, to know what kind of man you really are. Strong men don't freak out at silence. They don't rush to conclusions. They don't assume the worst. They let things unfold, and they observe what kind of woman they're actually dealing with. That level of self-control is what separates a man who gets played from a man who commands respect. So stop treating every silence like a breakup. Stop acting like you've been rejected just because she's gone quiet. That mindset is soft, and women can feel that softness instantly. You don't need a confirmation to hold your position. You need to grow past the insecurity that keeps telling you the story is already over. Stay still, stay sharp, and let her wonder what kind of man doesn't crumble when most guys do. Let's be clear, the moment you let a woman's silence control your behavior, you've handed over all your power, and once she sees that, she loses respect, fast. Not because she's cruel, but because women are wired to respond to strength, not emotional submission. Most men have no idea how to handle being ignored. They panic, they chase, they fold. And what they don't realize is that silence is not the problem. Their reaction to it is. You don't lose a woman because she went quiet. You lose her because you showed her she could control you with nothing but absence. And that's where the shift needs to happen. You need to stop acting like a woman's attention defines your worth. You're not a puppet. You're not a backup plan. You're a man. So start carrying yourself like one, even when the silence gets loud. If you've been through this, if a woman ignored you and it threw you off, I want to hear about it. Drop your story in the comments. What did you do? What would you do differently now? I'm going to be going through the comments personally and responding to some of you. Because this isn't just a video. This is a conversation between men who are done playing from behind. You're not alone in this, and your growth starts with awareness. Let's build stronger men, one truth at a time.